No way. No way. No fucking way. No fucking way. There's no way. There is no way. This guy, this fucking fraud, this. What? This guy won coach of the. Are you fucking serious? This guy won coach of the year. Over, by the way, over JB Bickerstaff. Over JB Bickerstaff, who led the Pistons to their first ever first seed. Ever! After the shit season they had 2 years ago, and, making a good playoff run last year. No, he didn't get to win. Over Mitch, what's his name? Mitch Johnson? Was that the other guy? I gotta find the other Coach of the Year nominees, because I'm absolutely livid by this announcement. This is the worst. The absolute worst. This is the absolute worst win in the entire season. The absolute worst. It doesn't get worse than this. I swear to God, it doesn't get worse than this. I gotta find this post somewhere. But, my goodness. When I heard that he won, I got a news report on my NBA app, and it said, Joe Mazzulla won Coach of the Year. Are you fucking serious? Joe Mazzulla? Joe Mazzulla won Coach of the Year. Joe Mazzulla. Jeez, hold up. Coach. Let me type this in. Show you my Coach of the Year. Let me see what shows up. There's got to be some of the nominees in here. Okay, well, yeah. Already saw. Oh, here. So, you mean to tell me this guy got more first place votes than JB Bickerstaff, who led the Detroit Pistons to the best record in the East? In the East! He lost over the guy that got second? But what? Because his best player was out? Really? And then Mitch Johnson gets 9 first place votes. 9 only. This guy got 62 first place votes. 62. 60 fucking 2. This guy got 62 first place votes. Why? How did he earn that? And look, I know exactly what a lot of you are going to say. This is an overreaction. You're damn right it's an overreaction, because this is such bullshit. Joe Mazzulla is the most overrated coach of all time. Of all time. I am not bullshitting you when I say that. I literally mean that. This is the luckiest coach of all time. You know how people say Steve Kerr was lucky to have Steph and Draymond and Clay? This guy is way luckier. Way luckier. This guy fell into a position that he didn't even earn. He got it because Ime Udoka was kicked out of the organization for violating some type of internal office work things, which is valid. It's fair. But he was on the coaching staff and he got bumped up. That's it. It's not because he was the best coach around. He was the best coach available. He got bumped up because the other guy lost his job. That's it. He got bumped up because the other guy lost his job, and all he had to do was stay the course. I'm losing my voice because I didn't expect to be screaming this loud. But all he fucking had to do was not to fuck up and just stay the course. Stay the course that we already laid out for you, Joe. We already laid it out with Ime. We already laid it out with Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is a better coach. And I don't even think Brad Stevens won a Coach of the Year. Did he? You know what? I'll double check that. Since I'm on the internet, I might as well double check. Okay, Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens coach record. Let me see if he ever won coach. Yes, he did win. No, he won All-Star Game Coach of the Year. I don't think. No, hold on. So this is Stevens. This guy right here. This guy is an actual. He is an actual coaching savant. He was a great coach. Now let me see what his accolades are. Okay, let's see. Okay, Coach of the Year. Nope. Never won Coach of the Year. Never won. Right here in 2017-18, he should have won Coach of the Year. He should have. The fact that he didn't win Coach of the Year, he ranked 3rd that year, joke. It's a fucking joke. He had more of a reason to be Coach of the Year that year than Joe Mazzulla does this year. More so this year. They went on an 18-game. Well, no, they were like 18-2 at the start of the season. I remember this very vividly because this is the height of the Warriors dynasty. And Kyrie left LeBron. He went to go to Boston so that he could run his own team and be the man in his own team. And much respect, much love to Kyrie. You deserve it, man. You do. And that was his coach. And that coach literally took a bunch of fucking rookies, second-year players, third-year players to the conference finals against LeBron. What the fuck did Joe Mazzulla do this year? What did he do? He lost a 3-1 lead in the first round. And I get it. It's a regular season award. But even in the regular season, he did not deserve it. His scheming is not the reason they won those games. The reason you guys won those games is because you had talented players. You had the 6th man of the year. Man, I really am losing my voice. You had the 6th man of the year. You have one of the best perimeter shooters in the game right now in, Derek White. You had Jaylen Brown, which, yes, he may not always be the best first option. He is a solid first option for most teams and won the finals MVP. You didn't have a stacked roster, but you had a great roster. You had a roster that could compete. You had teams like the Spurs who nobody thought they were going to make the leap that they did this year. Nobody thought they were going to be that good to win 62 games. That is actually good coaching. That's good coaching. And he is literally battling it out in the Western Conference Finals, going beat for beat, band for band, punch to punch with Mark Daigneault, a former Coach of the Year. And what the fuck did you do, Joe Mazzulla? What did you do? What did you do when the chips finally mattered? I mean, it's not even this year. The funny thing is, I could go down a list of his fuck-ups. A list of them. 2 years ago, when they were, 3 years ago, before they won the championship, this was the year he took over. He brought them to the conference finals and was down 3-0. They didn't win a single game. Now, yes, they came back. For Game 7 and then blew it because, Jason Tatum got hurt, but still blew it. Okay, so that's sign number one that he probably wasn't that good of a coach because he shouldn't have been down 3-0 to begin with. He shouldn't have been down 3-0 to begin with. As for his 2024 championship, bravo, applause, well done. You made it to the mountaintop, but you made it to the mountaintop because you dealt with a weak East that had nothing. They did not compete with you guys whatsoever. There was no competition. There was nothing in your path at all. You dealt with an East that was still growing and molding into the East that it is now. And then last year was the year where I kept telling people, guys, as much as they won the championship, I think they won the championship in spite of their coach. In spite of him. This guy is heavily reliant on three-point shots. He's heavily reliant on getting jumpers. You know what he reminds me of, honestly? He reminds me of a more successful D'Antoni. Remember that guy? Mark D'Antoni? The guy that coached the Rockets, that coached the Suns. He reminds me of that guy. Because he did the same type of schemes all the time. I was watching him like, oh, just get a perimeter shot. Get a three-point shot, right? Live by the three, die by the three mantra. And it came back to bite him in the ass. Last year, not this year. Last year. Not this year. Last year. I said this last year. I said last year he was one of the luckiest coaches of all time. One of the most overrated coaches of all time. Because his schemes are so boring and predictable. They're boring and predictable. And he does not know how to strategize properly. When the Knicks were up, 2-1? He had no response. He had no types of things to do to really stop their run. And he faltered. It was mainly his fault. It wasn't Jason Tatum. It wasn't Jaylen Brown. It was his schemes. His schemes sucked. His defensive schemes sucked. The shot selection that he was drawing up for his players sucked. And then this year, we're giving it to him this year because what? A narrative? Because he lost Jason Tatum for most of the season and had to work with what he had? He had a good roster. You act as though he had like the Suns roster or something, or that he had like the Memphis Grizzlies roster, where it's like one good player and a bunch of nobodies. They're not a bunch of nobodies. You got a 6th man of the year. You got one of the best perimeter defenders and shooters in Derek White. You got a solid bench. You should have won more, honestly. But no. He had to struggle because he didn't have Jason Tatum. Oh, poor Joe Mazzulla lost his best player. Oh, but he found a way to make it. He found a way to make it to the top seed of the East. Without his best player, we must award that with Coach of the fucking Year over guys that are way more deserving. Both of which, by the way, had better records than him. Both of which had played in better games than he did. Both of which were challenged as coaches more than he was. He was gifted Boston. JB Bickerstaff literally joined a team that went, 13-69 the year before he came? Like, they had one of the worst records. I think they still have the record for, the most continuous losses for any team. He came to that team, and in 1 year, one year, made them into a playoff team. One year. And in the second year, he took them to the second round. With the best record in the East. With the perennial MVP candidate. And then Mitch Johnson, year 3 of Wemby, and they're in the conference finals. Year 3 of Wemby, they beat the Thunder 3 out of 4 meets during the regular season. 4 out of the 5 meets of the regular season. I minus 1 because they basically sat most of their players in that last game. But my point being, he beat them. He beat the champions 4 times. 3 of them legitimately. He beat them. They dominated the West for the most part. Got to the championship round of the in-season tournament. And yet he doesn't win. He gets less votes. Look at this again. He gets less votes. 9 first place votes. 17 second place votes. He gets less votes than Joe Mazzulla, who did nothing impressive at all this year. All he was to stay the fucking course. That's it. That's all he was asked to do. Don't fuck this up. Don't rock the boat. And yet we gave him Coach of the Year. This is without doubt the most undeserving award of the year. Maybe the most undeserving award in NBA history. There literally were two guys that were better than you that should have won. And you won Coach of the Year. Joe Mazzulla is not a bad coach. Joe Mazzulla is not a great coach. He is a solid coach. He is a good coach. He's good enough to do what he wants. And honestly, I'm just sick and fucking tired of like people like, oh, he's just so real. He's just so funny with his straightforwardness. I always hated that. Because where do you come off being such a fucking idiot and asshole talking like that? Like, I would watch the Deep Three guys and like, oh, Joe Mazzulla quotes. These are so hilarious. I'm like, no, they're not. These quotes paint him as an asshole. He looks like he's so detached and like what's the word I'm looking for? Unappreciative of the scenario and situation that he was given. Like apparently Derek White came up to him and said, oh, congratulations, you won like Coach of the Week or Coach of the Month. And he's like, so? Hey, fuck you, dude. You should be appreciative that people acknowledge that you're an actual good coach for that particular week. But no, you just shrugged it off like, whatever. I bet you he'll shrug off this award like, doesn't matter. I didn't win anyway. And honestly, go fuck yourself, Joe Mazzulla. And, no, you know what? Not even to Joe Mazzulla. Go fuck yourselves to the voting team that picked Joe Mazzulla. All 62 of you that gave him first place votes, go fuck yourselves. You have no reason to pick that guy over JB Bickerstaff or Mitch Johnson, both of which coach better than he did and have better teams than he did and face tougher, stronger competitions than he did. I'm not even talking about the playoffs. I'm talking about the regular season. They had the tougher matchups all the time. JB Bickerstaff took a franchise that was literally in the dirt and resurrected them to the number one seed. What better story is that? Mitch Johnson took this team, this baby Spurs team, and made them win 62 games in a loaded East with the defending champions that they had to face 5 times and beat them 4 out of those 5 times. What better story is that? You mean to tell me the only reason he won was because, he didn't have Jason Tatum? Poor Joe Mazzulla, he didn't have Jason Tatum. And look at him, he's doing so well. Let's give him the Coach of the Year, guys. He didn't have his best player. Oh my God. Oh, round of applause. I think I'm done. I blew up my voice. I'm upset. Joe Mazzulla, you're a fucking fraud. And I cannot wait for the rest of the world to realize it. Next year is going to be a referendum on you. We're going to finally get to see what type of coach you truly are. Because now the pressure's on. You have to win. And your schemes better be good. Because now you got to deal not only with the Detroit Pistons. The Knicks are rising. The 76ers beat you. Literally 3-1. They came back from that shit. Now you have to deal with that next year. You do. You can't run from it. There's a young Charlotte team that is playing out of their fucking minds. And guess what? Our coach better than you coach Boston. I'm not going to lie. I feel like they have a better coach than you. The East is starting to build up momentum. You can't rest on your laurels, and you can't rest on the fact that you have a solid team. You got to actually come up with some good schemes. You have to actually draw some plays that are actually good. Fucking Joe Mazzulla, go fuck yourself, dude. What the fuck? And you know what, you voters? Doubly go fuck yourselves for voting for that guy over JB Bickerstaff and Mitch Johnson, the true coaches of the years. If I could pick both of them, I would. You know what I wouldn't pick? Joe fucking Mazzulla!